What is going on, everybody? This is Paulio Jr. This is actually the first video I'm going to be doing that is sort of health related than a DIY or a software review or tutorial or something to do working on the house or anything like that. This was something that I came across that I actually heard about maybe in the beginning of this year or late last year, and it's basically called, they call it a grounding mat or an earthing mat, whatever the hell you want to call it. And the long story short of what these provide, this is the Dr. Mercola one. The long story short is basically you use this mat right here, and they give you this connector, this guy, that you actually snaps on and off, and then you plug this into the ground, the ground part of the outlet. And what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to go through the ground and then connect to the grounding rod through that is actually outside, that is grounded to the earth. So whenever there's some sort of interference in something that's grounded, it sends that excess energy to the grounding rod into the earth and spreads it out. So that's the simplest way I could explain it. So basically, after all of this research that people have done, and Dr. Mercola is definitely a doctor that I've actually been following probably since 2006, on and off the last couple of years, and he's had a lot of good tips. He's a little hard. He's definitely a little hardcore, and he has a lot of good stuff. But I would say he definitely has a lot of things that are that can be a little too intense and too specific, where you would be worried about your health all the time. But I do feel as though having a grounding mat is definitely beneficial. So in this one, the Dr. Mercola Earthing Universal Mat, what they do is they give you this guy, what they call outlet ground checker, and basically you plug this guy into, excuse any of the mess over here, this is like my small little office. Obviously it has to be one that is a 3-prong, and then there's 2 lights. If these 2 orange lights light up, you're good to go. And it even tells you on here, sorry, I'm using the cube, so if two orange is correct, and it'll tell you if there's an open neutral, an open ground, open hot, blah blah blah. So all the other ones technically will not work. So when you're grounded, when those 2 lights are orange, you plug this end just into that 3rd hole in the outlet, the ground outlet, and then this mat you're technically grounded to the outside. So it's as if you were physically connected to the outside, and as if you were walking barefoot outside, if you were laying down outside, anything like that. So it's basically, you're feeling you're basically receiving the Earth's energy is the idea behind it. And not that I was skeptical, it seemed very reasonable. But the first time I plugged this one in, and then I actually put it under my desk and just and you have to have bare skin on it, no clothes, no socks or anything like that covering up, or wherever you're putting it. You don't want any kind of clothing in between you and the mat. the first time I did it, I could honestly feel it immediately, and it was as though it was sort of like a the only way I could describe it was from my feet to my knees felt like I had a lot more energy. So, and they kind of compare that to like when you're walking around on the beach, when you're walking around in the grass, you're just, instead of being isolated and by yourself, you're now sort of connected again to what your initial state was supposed to be, which was, not wearing shoes and all that good stuff, and always being connected and always being grounded to some part of the earth. And now, of course, in everyday life, we're typically not too grounded, as far in this physically speaking. So, but what's cool about this kit is they give you that ground checker, they give you the mat, they give you the plug, the adapter, and they give you a really long cord, which is cool. And then they also give you this extra mat. This is actually the conductive side. So you would slide this black mat into here, face up, right into here. And then you can actually use this as on top of your pillow and then lay down on it. So that's what I do every night. And then during the day, I'll either put this underneath my desk. If I am, home, I'll put this underneath my desk with my bare feet, or I'll put it on, I'll put it on top of the desk, and just, just be leaning on it with my arms or with my hand. But I do think that it's, for whatever reason, I think it's actually better with when your feet are on it. So, but it works either way, and it's nice that you can, while you're sleeping, be grounded for, hopefully 6 to 8 hours, while you're sleeping. So it's not uncomfortable or anything like that. You just put it on top of the pillow, and you're good to go. There's nothing complicated about this at all. You plug in the outlet checker, the ground checker, make sure everything's good to go. Plug this into the third hole, and then put this wherever the hell you want it. And I would say, for the first time when you do it, try it put both your feet on it, and you can actually feel that energy. It's more of a reviving feeling than anything, and you can continually do that. And this part, I believe, is not washable. The mat cover is washable. This one you just have to kind of clean by yourself and take care of, but this part you can actually wash. So that's really it. I just wanted to do just a sort of quick review on it, without going really crazy into detail about grounding. Long story short, when you're physically touching the earth in any way, you receive the earth's energy, and you actually feel a little bit better too. So you get a little pep in your step. So, and that's really what I wanted to show you guys today. I think they sell these guys, I believe, for like 50 to 60 bucks on the Mercola website. I actually got this one on eBay for about 30 bucks, and I use it every day. And I do feel as though it has its beneficial values to it, and I believe that it can, even though it can give you sort of that little bit of energy that you may be lacking, and feeling more connected. I feel like it also even has a release function within it as well. So you're receiving while you're dissipating any sort of any sort of crap energy, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the specifics of it, but it feels like whatever, if you do have even just a little bit of stress, that it is being relieved. Maybe that's just because you're getting that energy and so forth. So I'm like seeing little stupid shit on my bed, so I'm like wiping it off for the video. But Yeah, these it's definitely worth it. I've now had this mat for months, and it still works just as well as it did. There's nothing complicated about it. It's just more of an indoor thing. I mean, you could go outside and walk around barefoot and get the same effect, if not better. But this is excellent if you are indoors a lot, or if you do work at an office where you're sitting down all day, where you could just use this mat, and it's pretty. If you have a desk, it's pretty inconspicuous, where you could just, you know, plug this bad boy in, and then, take your shoes off, take your socks off, and just have your feet on the mat while you're, doing whatever you do. And then while you're home, use it when you're on the computer or whatever you're doing. And then while you're sleeping, put this inside of the cover, and then lay your head on it. And it says it would be, not fully, but partially, as if you were sort of, laying in the grass outside. But that's really all I got. It's just one thing that I would like to offer to you guys if you've never heard of it before. I haven't seen any negative effects. I saw a video about how an earthing mat. This guy had supposedly had a negative effect to it, but I think it was really more of a psychological thing, and like they say, correlation does not mean causation. So I feel as though his assessment was 100% inaccurate, and that these do actually work, and there's absolutely zero um, consequences to using them at all. So definitely worth the spend, definitely worth the money. And I haven't tried the other ones, but I do like Mercola. Like I said, he knows his stuff. He's he's just he's a little too health conscious, in my opinion. So, and I don't like to get too health conscious where it would become where you would get anxious and always checking everything. But I feel that this is something, the grounding earthing mat, whatever, is something that everybody should have, or should at least try. And it's not in the way. It's not if you don't like it, you don't have to use it. But if it works for you, and you actually feel a difference, then then keep up with it. So I just clean this guy off every once in a while, throw this guy in the wash when it's a little bit dirty, and that's really it. So that's my review, if you would call that a review. So, and definitely look forward to the Polio Junior website. And this is actually my first video I'm recording in 1080p, which is pretty cool. And I have a better camera coming in as well. So, Polio Junior website, I'm releasing, this video is coming out June 11th. I'm hoping to have the Polio Junior website out on June 15th with a pretty good amount of content. And just, there's going to be a lot of, like I said, different, like I said in the previous video, there's going to be a lot of different things than what I've been doing previously, but also a lot of the same stuff as well. So, any suggestions, any comments, any feedback, any any hate mail or whatever the hell you want to give me, bring it on, because I'm more than open to it. And and I just really, I enjoy doing these videos, and I enjoy receiving the feedback, and I enjoy getting the subscribers and the views. It's awesome. Even though Google AdSense disabled my account, what are you gonna do? So I'm still gonna do the videos regardless. But that's all I got, guys. Definitely look into the grounding earthing mats, but don't look too into them. Don't overanalyze it. in my experience, don't overanalyze it. Check it out and see if you feel as though it's something that would work for you. I feel as though it does work for me, and I continue to use it. I've been using it for months now. So, but that's all I got. Polio Junior website. in 4 days. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Later.